welcome or welcome back. This is Madison, and this video is going to be a culmination of my April and May making. You can see here I'm working on finishing up this weaving experiment that I had on my loom at the time. I was playing around with this wool felt on my loom. This is an overshot pattern, and was just kind of testing out different color combos and playing with the materials. I'm not sure that anything will come of this warp. It's been kind of just hanging on my wall since I finished it, waiting for, I don't know, to be cut up into smaller pieces, or I'll probably end up keeping this as swatch experiments. But it was fun when I was making it. I have a new warp wound and it's ready to be threaded onto the loom, but I just haven't gotten around to that yet, so maybe next month there will be some footage of that. Otherwise, enjoy this peaceful weaving moment, and I am going to get to chatting about knitting very soon. Thanks for being here. Just been wanting to knit. That's all I've been wanting to do. I have a few finished projects that I want to show you today, and then I have a whole slew of whips, a few that have been kind of ongoing since the beginning of this year, and a handful of new ones that I want to show you and I'm excited to show you. So I will just get right into the knitting. I also have Hazel and Billy, Hazel the squirrel and Billy the raccoon, with me today. I thought I would just prop them up behind me because they're cute and fun. This has been my little like sewing station the last couple of months. I had a few weeks of sewing mania and it was like all I wanted to do. I sewed my first ever dress, the Wilder gown by Friday Pattern Company, and I sewed a top version of the Wilder gown as well. And what else did I sew? Oh, I went on a bucket hat frenzy. I've made 3. I gifted one to my sister, and I have 2 for myself. One I made with like a really beautiful hand-woven cotton from Merchant and Mills, and it's kind of like a sun hat vibe. And then the other is an actual kind of like rain hat. I made it out of some dry oilskin, also from Merchant and Mills, and then put a little corduroy in the inside of the brim. So it's oilskin, you flip it up, you got the corduroy. It's super cute. I'll try to put in some photos. And now I have a little fabric stash of like, I think I have like 4 or 5 projects that I want to do. Been kind of procrastinating on just getting myself to do the like initial steps before the sewing. The same with weaving. There's like so much in the setup process to even get to the actual like act of the craft. It all plays a role in the grand scheme of the art, but I just haven't been in that mindset yet. So knitting, that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to start off with my Audrey vest, which I believe I showed in my last knitting update. It was in progress. It was a test knit that I did for Goodwin Johnson. The pattern is now released. I love this pattern. I want to knit more of this vest. I want to knit the cardigan version, which was the original pattern. And then Gudrun made this update for the vest version, and I loved it. So just some stats. I knit the size 5, which I think was a little, I can't remember now off the top of my head how much recommended ease is in the pattern, but um, I kind of went up, I think, a few inches. I wanted about a 40-inch bust circumference just so I could layer it and just have like a little bit more of a boxy fit. And so I went with the size 5. It fits amazing. I love it. I've been wearing it a bunch. Now it's kind of warming up. It got somewhere the last couple of months on the chillier days, but I am definitely going to be pulling it out again in the fall. I knit mine out of Jamieson's of Shetland Spindrift, which was the recommended yarn, and it's one of my favorites, so I will, I'm always trying to find a reason to knit with Shetland yarn. And I purchased 6 balls for size 5, and I ended up with about this much left of the final 6th ball, so a pretty good amount here still. I'm probably going to incorporate this into other color work projects. This is the color Earth, which is kind of like a greenish brown. In some lights it looks green, in others it looks more brown, so versatile. And I wanted something neutral-ish to just kind of, so it could be a staple and, go with a lot of my clothes. I purchased the yarn and the buttons from Brooklyn General Store here in New York, and I'm obsessed. These buttons, I think they might be vintage buttons, I'm not sure. But they're so cute, and I love the pop of orange with the green. And yeah, I'm so happy with it. You can kind of see the nice like lace in the front, and it's knit bottom up, and I found that once I got to the part where you separate for kind of like the front panels and the back panel, it was like done the next day. Like, it went so fast. The lace is just, it's really easy, and such a nice little detail, and also just it goes so fast. The longest part was just the knitting stockinette back and forth for the main body of the bottom section. So yeah, and I found all the details to be really nice. I feel like it looks really polished, and I just love it. I love it so much. I ended up sizing down on my needles. I've found that I've had to do that with a few of Gudrun's patterns. Just our gauge must be just one needle size off from each other. And yeah, so I knit mine on a size, I think 2, 3, and 4 was what I used, and the pattern calls for 3, 4, 5 US sizes. After my Audrey vest, I cast it on a few smaller projects, which I will get to, but one of those that I've actually finished is some baby gifts. Can you see my eye twitching right now? Because, oh my gosh, it feels like there's so many people in my life having a baby this year. So I am back in baby gift world in my knitting, and they're so cute. It's hard to resist knitting a baby gift. And I love knitting the little bonnets because they're so quick and they're just so stinking cute. So this is the Baby Bear Bonnet by Knitting for Olive. This one is the 6-month size, and I've actually knit 2 bonnets in this brown color, but one has already been gifted. I made a 3-month size, so that one went so fast because it was like so teeny tiny and cute. And this one will be gifted soon. The brown, I loved this combo. I had this Santa's Garn Sunday in the fingering weight in my stash, and then managed to find this Knitting for Olive mohair to match, and I feel like the color match was really spot on. And I found this Knitting for Olive mohair to be really soft. I feel like I've knit with the Knitting for Olive mohair a few times, and not all of them have been this soft, and so that was really nice. It's like I was really in love with this combination. And yeah, this pattern just goes so quick. It's, all flat, but just a combination of short rows, increases, decreases, and little I-cord ties. So cute. I'm excited to gift this one. And then I ended up picking up a few other colors. At first I got this blue combo, which is an Issayer, their mohair with a Knitting for Olive merino. But I don't know that I'm actually going to make a bonnet out of this. I think I'm leaning more towards this color combo, which is the same yarn, just different colors. So Knitting for Olive merino and the Issayer mohair, which the Issayer mohair truly is some of the softest mohair I think I've ever felt. So have been kind of like itching to work with that. And I thought this was a nice kind of tester, you know, for me to knit with it. Small project. I'll have some leftover for in stash to play around with. And yeah, so that's where I'm gonna knit one more baby bonnet for sure, and then gift both of them. And yeah, I was doing a bit of a deep dive on baby patterns, and I really would love to make the baby surprise jacket at some point. Maybe I'll gift it like in the next year of one of these new babies' lives. Because I don't think it's going to be done in time. And I have a lot of other projects going on, as you will see, because I have, feels like a million whips at this point. But yeah, the baby projects are just so cute. If you have been around here before, you might remember that I think both of these, both Hazel and Billy were supposed to be baby gifts, but then I got paranoid about I put safety eyes on them, and then I didn't want to take them off, and then I was paranoid about the safety of the baby having, you know, those. So I just kept them and then made something else as gifts, but they're so cute. I do find that whenever I knit with this sort of like commercial yarn combo, I just love it so much. It's like that could be all I knit with. But I also, whenever I knit with Spindrift or, you know, Jameson's and Smith, I feel the same way. So I think I just love all the yarns. I don't know. It's hard to find a yarn that I don't like. I guess the one big difference is that I mostly knit with non-superwash, unless it's like for socks. So I think that is where maybe my preference lies, is with the non-superwash. But anyway, let's get into my pre-existing whips, and then I will share with you all of the new whips I've cast on in the last month or so. First of all, I want to show off this project bag that my mom made for me. It's so cute. It's a map of New York City on the top, and it has a zipper, and it's just the perfect size for like a little project. I think it's so cute. She also made me PJ pants in the map print, and I wear them all the time. But this is my blue sock project, which I think I was in the middle of the first one in my last knitting update. So I have one finished sock since then, which is exciting. I'm knitting them all out of stash yarn, just a vanilla sock, 60 stitches, and I have been testing out the strong heel method, which is a new construction for me. I haven't worn these socks yet, obviously, because I'm not done with the second one, so TBD still on how they hold up in terms of wear, but the knitting process was like, okay. I think like a shadow wrap heel or a fish lips kiss heel is still my preferred method, just in terms of like the knitting process itself. The jury is still out on the strong heel, but it's been fine. And yes, so this is where I am on the second sock. I've just started the increases for the strong heel, and you can see I'm knitting these on my little wood DPNs US ones, which is what I usually knit all my socks on. It's just kind of been a background project for me, so it's not something I'm working on all the time, but you know, usually when I need something that's a little bit more portable on the go, it's been nice to have this to just pick up and put down as I feel like it. And then here are the yarns that I'm using for the leg and the foot. This lighter blue is a Sandnes Garn Sisu, which I think is their sock yarn. Has a little bit of nylon or polyamide in it. And then this royal blue, is that a royal? Cobalt, is from the Brown Sheep Company, and it is just 100% wool. So, yeah, that's those yarns. And then for the heel, or not the heel, for the cuff and the toes, I'm using this really dark navy, and this is a Magpie Yarns yarn that I've had just in stash. I used most of this I used this color as a main color in a sweater many years ago. And I've just had like little bits of it left, so I'm trying to get rid of it. It's I think I said a sport weight. So a little bit heavier than the other two yarns, but I think it's fine for just, the cuff and the toes. It doesn't really matter. I really love the little stripes that I have going on. I should have that linked on my Ravelry project page, as well as a link to the strong heel method construction, if you're interested in either of those things. My other whip that has been continuing on in the background very slowly is my Porty Cardigan, which is another Goodwin Johnston pattern. And I think I was almost done with the color work last time. And I have now separated for sleeves, and I'm on the body. So just knitting away at the body. The color work went so fast, as I feel like it usually does for me. I think if this was an all over colorwork sweater, it might have been done by now, but definitely feeling a little bit stalled, and I don't know. I don't want to say bored, because I still, I'm not bored by it. I just haven't been drawn to knitting just the gray for inches and inches. And it is on, I think I did the color work on a US 3 needle, and then now I'm down to a US 2 for the body. So it's just, toothpick needles, little yarn. I'm just letting it take the time it wants to take. But the body is in this Jamieson & Smith 2-ply, which I got on a cone from the Woolly Thistle. And I have been patiently waiting for them to restock on cones. Love having a cone of this, and I think I would love to have a few more cones. This is the second sweater that I've made with a cone, and you can see I still have a decent amount. So we'll see where I end up at the end of this project, how much I have left. But yeah, it's just been, I feel like it's economical and is nice to have on hand for like these neutral colors, And then I need to, I think, still add which colors I used in the color work to my Ravelry, but these were all little kind of one-off balls of spindrift that I had in my stash, and I just put them together, as best as I could. I'm really trying to work from my stash as much as possible. And kind of use that as a creativity constraint, and, just seeing what I can come up with what I already have. I'm really happy with how this is looking so far. There's a few more bits of color work at the, I think at the bottom of the body and like in the bottom of the sleeves. So that will be fun. And I talked more about how I kind of came to this color combo in my last video, if you want to check that out. I don't know if it's the spring weather or what, but my cast on energy I've been trying to like quell the feeling of wanting to cast on like 100 things. So I let myself have a few new cast-ons, and this is where we are. I'll show them to you. First up, and this is almost an FO. I think I just need a few more days to finish this. And this is something I talked about wanting to knit in my last video, and it's almost done, and it's the Cocoon Chokki, which is a vest pattern by Noriko Ichikawa. This is the first time I've knit one of her patterns, and I'm loving it. I have, I think, a few more in my either favorites or library from her, and I really am like wanting to cast them on. So, have found this pattern to be very clear and just really enjoyable. I am almost done with the body, and then I will start on the bottom ribbing, and then I will be done, which is amazing. This is all of the yarn I have left, and I have been worried about playing yarn chicken at the end, which is why once I ran out of my second skein, I guess to back up, I had 3 skeins of this yarn, so 300 grams, and this is from Tidal Yarns. It's like a special Romney blend of some sort. I can't remember, Jacob Romney maybe, that I picked up at Rhinebeck last year, and it was all that she had left, so I snagged the last 3 skeins of this, and it is so soft and bouncy. I'm really excited to have this vest in this yarn. And so was worried about plain yarn chicken because the pattern calls for, I think, 350 grams for the smallest size. So once I ran out of my second skein, I put the body on pause and knit the collar, picked up and knit for the collar. So I just finished that, and now I'm back on the body. I tried it on. I think it's long enough where I'm ready to start working the ribbing. So I might do a few more rounds of stockinette and then do the ribbing, and we'll be done. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I think this is gonna get me to the end and like be the perfect fit. It's a pretty generous fit, like it's pretty oversized, so I am knitting the first size. Let me see what the schematic says. So it says the first size bust circumference is 39 inches or 99 centimeters. I think it'll be a good fit. I tried it on. It's feeling like nice and not too oversized, but a good fit. I'm knitting it exactly to pattern. I think maybe the only modification that I might end up making is that I knit the body like a 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch shorter than it recommends before starting the ribbing, but otherwise I've knit it completely to pattern. I'm using the recommended needles, which is a US 8 and a US 6. And I think that's another reason why this project feels like it's going so fast, is because the needle size is so much bigger than what a lot of my other projects have been on recently. So it has just been really refreshing to have something that feels like it's moving along very quickly, and has been really enjoyable to knit. That is my cocoon. This next whip is a little out of left field for me. It's the Flower Power Pullover by Deegan, which is not something, it's not a pattern that I had been drawn to. I've loved seeing it around, and I love, I think Deegan's patterns are very like fun and funky, but I just haven't felt the like need to cast on any of them yet. But then I ended up helping a new friend who is a machine knitter and was working on this sweater, and wanted some assistance. And after helping her out, I was like, oh wait, I kind of want to try want to try this sweater. I haven't done intarsia before, so this is my first experience with intarsia, and it's been fun, and it's out of stash yarn. So that was another thing, is it was fun to just go stash diving and see what I had. I kind of like had a few ideas and was playing around with some different color combinations, and I'm really excited with where I landed. Still getting used to just having like little bobbins. I've been making butterflies instead of winding off onto bobbins. The butterfly technique is actually also used in Raya weaving, which is the only time that I've used that sort of like method before. So it was funny to have that kind of like worlds collide moment of weaving and knitting overlapping. I just make the little butterflies, and then once I run out, I make another butterfly, and so on. And the yarns that I'm using are this color combo, which this orange is like, it is bright. It is so fun. And it is from Junction Fiber Mill. They did a like special kind of one-off batch of this Hunter's Orange last fall, and I snagged a couple skeins. I made a hat out of it, and then I think for the hat I just barely broke into the second skein, so I had almost an entirely full 100-gram skein left. And then for the main color, I'm using this Double Sunday by Santa's Garn. And I think this is the almond color. It's a petite knit color. It's just a really nice kind of creamy off-white. I think I had bought this originally to make like a baby onesie and then just was like, I'm not gonna do that. So now it's gonna be a sweater for me. I am thinking that I might just do the color work on the front and the back panels and then knit the sleeves in the round. The pattern has you doing the intarsia flat for the sleeves and then, you know, everything seamed together. I think I might just leave it off and just like do solid sleeves in the round. I am also tinkering with the idea of maybe doing kind of like boxy short sleeves, so maybe it's not a long sleeve thing for me. I don't know. We'll see. I think it's going to be a fun pattern to modify and play with. My first time knitting intarsia. It was fun to do some YouTube searching for like, you know, skills, best practices. So I do feel like I'm up leveling a little bit with this project, which is fun. My last two are little accessories. I have two more whips. And this first one is a special one because my boyfriend goes to London for work, usually just once a year, but he is very kind. He's a very he's a very good he's a very good boyfriend. And he goes to yarn shops and buys me yarn when he travels, which is too kind. So he has now been to Loop London twice, and I am dying to go. I've never been to London. I'm hoping that next time that he goes to London, I can tag along and just do my own little yarn crawl. But he very kindly bought me this kit from Loop London, which is for this is the yarn, which is Ching fiber. So fun. Looks like a party. It was a kit for their tiny tassels bandana, which is so cute. And then at the very end, you attach the little tassels on. So the bandana itself is a very relaxing knit because it is just back and forth garter stitch. This is the yarn that came for the tassels, so that'll be cute. I was doing some traveling to see family in April and thought I might as well just take a little project. I haven't knit with like this variegated of a yarn in a long time, so it's been really fun to see how it's coming out. I think it's going to be just like a fun accessory to have. Pattern's really easy to memorize. It's just a little triangle shawlette. I'm almost at the point where I've finished increasing up to the stitch count, and after that I think it's just attaching the tassels and that's it. So my last whip here is a fun one. I was craving more stranded color work. I'm not letting myself cast on my Agnes cardigan, which I think I featured in my last video. I keep saying that, so feel free to watch that one if you haven't. Keep referencing it, but I'm not letting myself cast on the Agnes until I finish my Porty cardigan, just because I don't want to have two fingering weight steeked cardigans on my needles at the same time. And I'm hoping that will also motivate me to finish the Porty And then I'll be really excited to start on the Agnes, which I've already swatched for and I'm very excited about. But I was needing a stranded colorwork project in the meantime, just something small and like I just needed it. And I also had been craving working with my hand spun. I haven't knit with my hand spun in a while. I haven't done a ton of spinning recently, other than April, I did 15 minutes of spindle spinning on my Turkish spindle every day, and that was really fun. I still haven't plied those singles, but that was just a really nice kind of daily practice. And I am making plans for this summer. I think July, Tour de Fleece is a thing. That follows the Tour de France. And the last couple of summers, I've had a bunch of travel that has ended up like kind of all in July. But this year, I'm mostly not traveling. So I am hoping to take advantage of that and like do a bunch of spinning. So I've already been percolating on ideas for a big combo spin and knitting it into a sweater and all this stuff. So that is to come. But for now, I was like looking through my handspun stash and really, really wanting to knit with it. And I have this really special yarn that is some of my favorite handspun that I've ever made. And I actually spun it on my Turkish spindles a couple summers ago. Oh my, I have a bit of a yarn tangle situation. But this is my handspun. This is what I'm knitting from right now, so just a little bit left. And I do have more of the fiber, so will probably need to spin more because I just have these little like mini skeins. It's a BFL fiber from Nest Fiber, and I don't know, the way I think I spun it on my Turkish spindle, it just turned out really soft and airy, and I really loved how it turned out, and I love the colors. So I've been trying to like save it for a special project, and I'm excited for what I've got going on. So this is the Geometer Cowl, and I of course will link my Ravelry project page. For the dark gray, I am using this combo, which is from my stash. And this is Knitting for Olive Mohair and Lobby Anime Helix or Felix. I'm blanking on it now, but I will have it in my Ravelry. But that is a lace weight yarn. And I think the combo is turning out really, really nice. Yeah, I'm just holding the LBA and the Knitting for Olive together as one strand. I'm not doubling up on the lace or anything. And then my hand spun is like fingering sport-ish weight, I would say. That's just been fun. I love colorwork so much, and I'm like really, really, really craving an all over colorwork sweater. I had so much fun knitting my festive doodle last year for Rhinebeck, and yeah, so I don't know. I want to do another all over colorwork, but I need to whittle down my whips for sure. That was a lot. That's a lot of whips. I was like, oh, I have no updates to share. And then sat down to write a list of everything. And I was like, oh, actually, there's a lot going on. And obviously some is getting more attention than others. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, until the next update. Hopefully I'll have a few more finished things. That concludes my knitting update for today. I am going to leave you with a little flip through of some books that have been on my desk and have been really piquing my interest recently. One is a new book, one's a very old book. Hopefully more to share soon, and happy knitting!